Welcome back to AM Arizona. We're globe-trotting really around the world. This is interesting. Don't you think, Tanya? You know, and I think everybody, at least when I was young, I had the same kind of spirit as Johnny. I just wanted to go out there and find out what it was all about. And I think that's what Johnny is telling us. You just wanted to experience.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah. Many continents. How many continents?
Continents, if memory serves me correct, I think 2. Australia, well, Australia really, because I never actually got to Africa and the United States in theory. I don't think it's a continent. No, you got me going.
Well, yeah,
no,
Europe, of course.
Right,
and
yeah, if you count the States and Canada.
It looked like a continent.
Yeah.
Many countries, of course.
Yeah, 15 overall.
And you kept a camera, obviously.
Yes, yes.
And what did you look for as far as photographs? I mean, did you look for anything particular, or just what caught your eye?
What caught my eye, I've got some beautiful photographs. Even when I was in Las Vegas back in 1989, and it was just like these buses that are pulled in next to each other, but the back of each one was just in a kind of interesting silhouette, and it was just this beautiful photograph, just with the, you know, the place behind it, the actual station itself. And
so have you gotten better at photography after taking so many photos?
I've never classed myself as a photograph. I've always said to myself, I've always said to people, I take photographs. But those that have seen my photographs and the few that have gone through all 32,000 photographs over the years.
What are we looking at here?
This is Amsterdam to the left back in 1987, and a door in Amsterdam, just someone's front door actually in Amsterdam. Yeah, back in 87. The top right is an old small building in Auckland, New Zealand on Queen Street, and then they build a skyscraper from that. So they keep just the original foundation.
And just keep building on it?
Yes.
Wow.
Lower left is Calgary in, of course, Canada. I love this picture.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Both are Hong Kong. Top left, of course, is Hong Kong. And the skyscrapers there, it's not metal scaffolding, it's bamboo stick. That's what they use for the scaffolding.
No kidding.
Bamboo. Of course, buses.
That's incredible.
Bamboo?
Bamboo. All over Asia they use that. Left-hand side is the Rodney King riots. That was April 29th, 1992. Just a bank that had burned down, obviously, about a week later.
Oh, man, so you were there during the riots?
About a week before it. Before it, yeah. And the top right is in Victoria, Australia, and it's called the Great Ocean Road. And part of the bridge has gone now; it collapsed. But top left-hand side corner is Louis Anderson. That was me in Maui back in '94, as in the actor, should say comedian Louis Anderson. Lower left-hand side corner is Monkey Mia. It's Denim Sound, which is Shark Bay, and that's in Western Australia. And it's actually where the dolphins come in to the public from the sea.
Really?
Now, what show does he host or hosted?
Oh, he used to be Family Feud for a while.
Family Feud. Yeah. I know he's been at Yavapai College Performance Hall right here in Prescott.
Top right, it's humorous. It annoyed the neighbours very much. And if memory serves me correct, I think it's Oxford, England. It's definitely England. I think it's Oxford. It's just this shark from a set, I guess. Top left-hand side corner, Niagara Falls, of course.
Of course.
Lower left, that's me in Chiang Mai in Thailand with as they call a novice, a young monk. And there's a beautiful mural. If memory serves me correct, once again, I think it's in Toronto, Canada, on the right-hand side.
Wow.
So that's painted on that building?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful.
The top left, I'm sorry, one of the most beautiful places of all time. It's called the Bight. It's across the Nullarbor Plains in southern Australia / Western Australia.
That is gorgeous.
And
is that inhabited?
No. There's like a roadhouse every 100 miles when you go along there. Of course, there's a straight road just beside it. Rockies from the Canadian side, top right, obviously. Lower left, I don't know if you can get the graphic of this, but this is a road train in Australia. And there's like 2 vehicles on top of those 3 carriages there.
No kidding.
They pump their trucks up with nitrous oxide just to keep them up.
Fabulous. Look at that. And the car on top.
There's 2 cars, actually. Yeah.
And that's the way they travel.
Yep. Tokyo, left-hand side, and right-hand side is Cooper Pedy, southern Australia, and it's where everything's underground. People live underground. That's a theatre underground. There's hairdressers, bookstores.
You're kidding.
Everything's underground?
Everything's underground. It's too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter to live.
Do they turn into moles from there?
You have to ask them.
Huh?
Left-hand side corner, that's where I was just telling the story, actually, about the gentleman that got weird with me. That was the Valley of the Lagoons, and that's in Queensland. And top right is Wallerman Falls in Australia.
Oh, fabulous.
Beautiful.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. You can add that photo to you can add that photo to your
I'll get your technicians to print one up.
Your adventure at AZTV. Hey.
And in Prescott now, is it difficult to stop doing all this? Will you go back?
got a little boy now, and he's my life. I love my son to death. But yeah, there's times when I do miss it. I don't miss the hitchhike. I miss the hitchhiking, but I don't miss the rides and how long it's taken me to get some rides. I've waited up to 27 hours sometimes for a ride.
Exactly.
27 hours.
Yeah.
And that has to be absolutely amazing. So I can't wait to get the book. When are you going to get this?
I'm waiting for a publisher right now. I'm just trying to get in touch with a few publishers out there, and hopefully I get recognised at some point. And
make a fabulous coffee table book.
I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you, Tony.
And the photos will be included as well.
I hope so. I got in touch with one publisher recently, and they said 15 pictures in the middle. What I'd like personally is something like a book like the, I think it's called the Da Vinci Code right now. If you go through it, not that I've read the book, but there's almost a photograph on every third or fourth page. That's how I'd like the book to be.
And you have so many photographs, it could almost be a photograph with caption type of book. A little story for each photograph would be fabulously interesting.
Absolutely. Johnny, did this reel go off in your head all the time? Are you reliving all of these adventures daily?
Daily. More so rewriting my book recently, because the book used to be 170 pages long, and I've added 230 pages recently. But why I did that was because I went back and reread all the journals and just relived all these things that happened from 17 years ago to obviously this, well, not so much this day, but at least for a 3-year period at that point. And it was like it was yesterday. And I've forgotten so much. It's amazing what you forget if you don't write it down or you take a photograph.
Of course. What is this haunted house that they gave us in our notes?
Yeah, I grew up in a house in England, and up to the age of, I think it was about 3 or 4, I used to play with spirits that were there. I get pretty emotional when I talk about it sometimes.
Come again?
I get pretty emotional when I talk about it sometimes. Sometimes I can talk about it, but...
What?
It was just... it was strange. My mother would hear these voices upstairs, and she'd come up the stairwell and come to the door and open the door up and look inside, and I'm an only child. And she would look at me and say, "Are you okay?" And I'd say, "Yeah." And she would start to explain to me. She'd say to me, "Well, what are you seeing?" And I'd describe to her these young children with the attire that they were wearing from the turn of the century. And this is in the late 60s. To cut a long story short, a few weeks later, because this happened again and again, she spoke to an old lady next door, and she said to her, "Can you tell her anything about the history of this house?" That's because she'd tell my mum. And my mum told her nothing about me whatsoever, what I'd experienced. And she said to her, as you walk up the wall, when you get to the top of your stairwell, because my room was on the 3rd floor, she just said to me, you'll feel, the lady said to her, "You'll feel where this used to be a school at the turn of the century, one big massive school, 2 buildings, and where your son is in his top room, that used to be a dormitory."
Wow.
Really?
You know what I see coming, Johnny, is a screenplay.
That'd be nice.
It could be.
That would be nice.
Yeah, this is enough for a movie.
I would see a movie in this.
It's definitely enough for 2 books, more than 1 book, I'm
14 years in the writing.
Johnny, you have lived a very interesting and adventurous life.
One of many.
And it's a pleasure to have you on our show.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes, I envy that.
Thank you.
Very, very much. Great, great story. Now,
to contact Johnny.
You need to put that information on a notebook near you. And then you need to talk about Seasons Restaurant. Will you do that now?
I will. I promise you.
You're a good kid.
Right here in Prescott, Seasons Fine Dining. And again, and I always tell you this, and I'm going to tell you again, they change their menu 4 times a year. They now have lunch. There's lunch at Seasons now. They change their menu 4 times a year. They use the freshest produce, the freshest fruits and vegetables, and everything that's fresh. So you go into the restaurant, you never know what's going to be on the menu. I mean, it's something delectable, let me tell you. The food over there is fabulous. They're on the plaza on Cortez Street, right across from the Courthouse Square, right here in Prescott. It is downtown dining with an elegant flair. You'll love them.